Multitasking is a lie, and here's why you'll lose more often when you multitask.
Become the business leader your business needs you to be. Become a B2B beast.
Hey everyone, Alexander Moen here, and every single study I've read on the subject is pretty conclusive. You're better off single tasking instead of multitasking, and you're far worse off otherwise. So I'll first explain what's happening to kind of give you, I guess, a little bit of scientific background or understand why. It's pretty straightforward. And then if you're still incredulous, I'll give you a quick and nearly infallible test that would prove to you certainly why that's the case. So what's happening? Whenever you do a task or anything at all in your brain, a certain quantity of neurons, they're firing and they're doing it in an approximate order. So this happens with everything you do, even your unconscious body processes. And what happens for newer tasks is your brain's trying to figure out the best way to do it. So it's actually recruiting more neurons, and they're not really sure what the best way of accomplishing the task is. But the more often you do it, the more often those neurons fire together, and then it just becomes more efficient. It actually uses fewer neurons, and then the communication between the neurons is actually faster as well. So not only does it require less energy and brain power, it's faster overall too. And this is what actually allows you to build more and more complexity over time with your skill set too. So when you try multitasking, actually what's happening is lots of different neurons in different parts are all firing together, or alternating rather. So your brain is actually really quickly attempting to go from one task to the other and back and forth, but it can't ever fully become efficient because it's going from this pair of neurons firing to something completely different. And if you're multitasking with a different thing, you're not even becoming good at those same two tasks that you're doing because you're jumping between them at different time gaps. You might have something else that comes in as well. And your brain is actually way more sensitive to this than you might imagine, even if you think you're a good multitasker. A study came out by UCI that showed just something as simple as a phone ringing or having to text message during the middle of a task took more than 20 minutes for you to become as fully efficient and in the zone as you were before. So think about that. That is something that you might find very minor, but that is a pretty huge difference there too. So don't fool yourself and think that you're an exception to the research. And I challenge you to do this exercise if you're still skeptical. So for this experiment, you need a paper and something to write with, and then a timer. So on your cell phone if you don't have a timer elsewhere. You're going to do two things. You're going to essentially write two lines. The first one's going to be a sentence. You're going to write, multitasking is the worst lie I ever believed. And then underneath that, you're going to write a number associated with each letter and each space. And you're going to time this. So you're first going to do the full sentence, and then you're going to count for each letter and space and figure out what the time is. You're trying to go as quickly as possible. Now, after you have that time, try something else. Now you're going to go from letter to number to letter to number. So instead of doing the full sentence, you're going to do M, then 1, then U, then 2, then L, then 3, and so on and so forth, and do that as quickly as possible also. Now keep in mind, you've been exposed to letters and numbers your entire life. You're used to writing them, but not always jumping back and forth that quickly, and almost certainly your time is going to be a lot worse on that second one. So keep this in mind. If you keep multitasking, you're killing your long-term development. Because again, your brain is taking more power than is required. It's not speeding things up, and you can't build on that complexity and develop those deeper skills at the same rate. So you're losing compared to your own potential value that you can produce. So don't sell yourself short. Multitasking is a lie. Let me know in the comments what your test ended up being and what you think, and have a good one.